guys, and welcome to Kel Stitches. Today we are going to be doing another fabric dyeing tutorial. This time I am going to do a couple of tie dyeing pieces. So tie dyeing is basically just where you fold or twist or pleat, crumple your fabric and then tie it up with whether it's rubber bands or a bit of string or something like that. So you end up with those like white rings or lines or whatever it is that you get on it. So yeah, I am going to do two colors for it, or two ways of doing it. I am going to be doing the usual. Sorry, I've still got my fabric in the plastic bags, so it's a little bit going to be a bit crinkly while I get them out. Let me just get these out of here. Oops, and that one just all right. So I'm going to be doing what they call the bubble technique. So that's where you tie your fabric into all the little knobs. And then I'm just going to be folding one and just tying it up. So let's just wet this fabric down and we will see how we go. This fabric feels pretty stiff actually. To get, there we go, that's better. Get that starch out of the fabric. Ow! Hot water. Get the starch out of the fabrics. That's that one. And I'll go with this one. Hot water seems to be working better with the starch in these ones than cold water. Alright, so there's my two bits of fabric wet down, and now what we'll do is so the first one I'm just going to, probably can't see what I'm doing there, just fold it in half and get the center. Fold it in half and half, and we'll get the center and just sort of scrunch it and fold it up so it's got some pleats and what haven't you in the fabric, just like that. And now I have some old hair ties that I used for fabric dyeing once before, so we will just use these to make the fumble fingers today. So yeah, we'll just use these to make a couple of ties in this fabric. And as you can see, I do have my couple of whatsies down there, words are hard today, do have a couple of trays down there with the racks over them. So as you're going down, you can always just keep fixing the fix and how it's sitting. That. Pull that one down a little bit, I think. There we go. And we'll do one more down here. That'll, if I can get that to throw that out like that. Maybe, maybe not. Nope, not gonna work. As you can tell, I haven't serged the edges of this fabric, so just struggle with this. I am determined to get this last one over or not. Right, there's that one done. So I'll lay that there. Now this one is going to take a little bit more because I'm doing the bubble technique. So basically, bubble technique is just where you grab your fabric and pinch it like this. So you've got little bubbles all over the fabric. I like that. I mean, you can do any way with tie dyeing. That's the beauty of it. You can scrunch and twist and tie any way you like with it. That's just, yeah, just the beauty of tie dyeing. You can just experiment with all your different ways of getting your fabrics dyed. We got should I do that? No, I'm going to put a couple more in. Just because I can. And you can do big bubbles, you can do little bubbles. Do lots of twists in your thingy, not as many twists. It just all comes down to what you think you would like in your fabric and how your fabric to look. Of course, the more twists and the thicker your bands around are, the thicker the white is going to be. I'll just leave it as that, hey? All right. No, I might just swap these over. Put that one there, that one there. All right, so my bubble one, I am going to, I've already got my colours mixed up. I'm going to do teal. So hopefully I've got these dark enough. So we will squirt this around. I can always make up a bit more dye if I have to, if this doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. So we will squeeze some onto I'm just going to tip it on, honey. Squeezing, it's just not working for me. And so we've got them on the racks so the excess water can seep through, or the excess dye solution can seep through. You can probably hear it dribbling through there at the moment. Just tip some onto that one there. Tip some onto that one. This one here as well. Now you can just do just a single colour in tie-dye, and that's just where you do your full immersion bath. So you just dunk it in a bucket of water, or bucket of dye solution I should say. Now what you can always do is just, because there's a lot of dye solution dripped out, just leave that for the moment, and then we will get, I've got a fuchsia, so I'll tip that on as well. Over that one, and over that one, and across here. Rightio, we'll just let that drip out a little bit, so then I can reuse that water, or that dye solution. So what I'm going to do is just wash off this bit of dye that's dripped over into the bathtub so it doesn't stay there. Now, the next one, I'm doing 3 colours. I'm doing purple, black and orange. So, and I'm going to use these squirty bottles. Let's see if this works out. Start with the black, I think. So, I might just start with the black at the top. And you can always roll it over to get the underside as well. do a bit of a strip in here of black. Probably should have do some black down here. I'll go orange first. And lastly, the purple. Now you can see how the colours are running in together, but that's all right. That's part of the tie-dyeing process as well, is that you will get this mishmash of colours, and then you'll get some pockets where it is the full colour. Oh, stand up again. Put some more black up here and down here, just so actually goes black enough and not rinse out to being a grey colour. Now I only made up this bottle, which is 250ml, and as you can see I've still got a fair bit of dye left. Alright, I think we'll just leave that one like that. It's looking very not much orange in there at the moment, but we will see how much actually translates out into the fabric. Now this one I am just going to pick the fuchsia out without actually and I know some of the teal is probably mixed with it a little bit by now. This is why you need to wear gloves, because I yeah. Alright. I wonder how much of this is. Oh, still looks pretty fuchsia to me, so we'll just pour a little bit more of this over. So we make sure we've got that darkness there. And then a little bit more of the teal. All right, so now we will leave those there to set for a good probably 30 minutes, I would say. Yeah, we'll give them at least 30 minutes and then we'll come back and wash them out. So you washed your tie-dye out before you put them in the oven, because if you're using rubber bands, your rubber bands are going to melt onto your fabric. But yeah, you wash them out before you heat treat them. But yeah, so that's what you do. I'll see you in half an hour. Guys, it's been half an hour, so let's wash these out. We will start with this one first, since it's the first one that I used. Oh, dyed, I should say. Words are really hard today, I tell you. So we'll just start rinsing all this out. Until your water runs clear. Which could take a while. And once you got most of that out, you can start pulling these off. And then rinse it again. There you go. Look how, oh my God, look at the colours in that. How cool does that look? Like, you can see where the teal and the fuchsia are their own, but you can also see where they're blended and made like a purpley colour. And that has turned out really cool. So that is that one. That is, yeah, pretty cool, I have to say. The colours in that have turned out really, really well. And yeah, like you can see where you've got your smaller bubble and then your bigger bubble. But yeah, that's really cool. I think I'll have to find a sampler, maybe a long dog or something, to do on that one. Alright, now we're going to go with this one. Let's see what type of mess we've come up with. This one could take a while to rinse out properly. A lot of dye in that there. Alright, let's pull these off. And we'll see what we've got. Look myself in the face. All right. Wash. Not as bad as my red one, though. That red one took forever. Because red is a really hard colour to wash it up too. See how this one turned out. That one turned out pretty cool too, I think. You can see the purple, the black, the purple, the rings where I tied it off, and all of these are from where it was all bunched up in that tie. So yeah, I think that one turned out pretty cool as well. I am going to put these in the oven for a little while, just to set that dye properly. Then I am going to probably throw them in the washing machine and dry them, and then I'll come back and show you afterwards the dried versions, because they will lighten up a little bit. These are the wet versions. So yeah, I will see you once I've done all of these next steps. Okay, so the fabric has been washed, or put in the oven, washed, and then dried. So now this is the finished piece of fabric. As you can see from the wet one, once again they have the color has faded quite a bit. You can see the teal in there, but it's not as bright as what it was beforehand. When it was wet, you can still see the few the tie-dye marks where they were, where I had the hair ties in. So that is the fuchsia and the teal one. What I could have done was, because once again I think it was about 250 ml solution up. I could have probably halved that and put the same amount of dye in. So I think I would have put probably a good 20-30 ml of dye into the water. So once again, I could have made less dye solution, but it's still, I do still like the look of it. It is a little bit lighter, but that's all right if you use a darker floss, a darker pink or even a purple floss on it. It would probably look really good. And then we have this one, which has turned out really well as well. So you can see this one hasn't faded off as much, probably because these are darker colors. But yeah, you can see where I've had the ties. You can still see the lines where it was all folded together, and you can see the colors in there. So you've got your black, your orange, and your purples. Once again, they do all just they will bleed in together, but it looks pretty good, I think. So yeah, they are the two tie-dye fabrics, and as I said, you can fold, scrunch, or whatever, however you like, or as long as you then tie them up with something, whether it's a bit of string or a rubber band or something like that, to get these markings, which is your traditional tie-dye markings type of thing. So yeah, that is how I tie-dye my fabrics. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, wherever you are in the world, please take care and stay safe. Bye bye for now.